So I don't know what is going on. I can just speak from my perspective, obviously, about what I'm seeing in these record-breaking official statements being dropped every 14 hours and 36 minutes from Miss Universe. Here in America, at least, in Chicago, it does not look good. It does not look good. But I think that people are now catching on to what's happening and what we'd like to talk about on a podcast affecting the contestants in these pageants. Although the situation is very, very triggering, it's also very devastating because I just feel like, now look, okay, as a director, why on earth, like, I just don't understand the motive. Why, like, what's the purpose of, besides like greed? I said that on Facebook. Greed and boredom. That's what I said on Facebook. Because I truly don't understand someone's motive to want to take on producing a pageant voluntarily if there is no like kickback, because or out of the kindness of your heart. Because this is my 7th year. I calculated, I think it's 7 or 8. I gotta do the math again. 7th year being a pageant director. I had small pageants, for the most part, all about under 10 contestants. So it's a very intimate, and sometimes there are coronation ceremonies, you know how that goes. So putting on a pageant of that caliber and doing it on, you know, civic centers, hotels. The last one was at the Carver Center, like the equivalent of the YMCA, inside of an auditorium. 2 years in a row. It's so much work to put on a pageant. That's what I'm saying. It's so much work. And then you take on the leadership responsibilities. You gotta do all this stuff. You gotta do, there's like 1,000 things. If I wrote out a to-do list of everything I needed done in order to make this pageant an amazing experience, there would be 997 things on that list. Little things. I got table numbers and I had VIP guests. You know, I make people feel special. But that's marketing. But anyway, it takes so much work to put on a pageant just to take it and then do like a natural disaster. It's so beyond me. I'd rather sleep, because, and it's not paid. So that's the greed part to me, because it's all sponsors and it's just, some people see it as a lick, but it just takes so much work to scam through pageantry. I wouldn't even bother. I would money launder through laundromats instead, because I would not even bother trying. You have to be a pageant director out of the love for it, out of the kindness of your heart, as a service to the community. Because look, you got parents, you got hunting girls down for entry fees, dropping girls, seeing girls not win. You got to get the awards. I wanted to make sure my awards were balanced. I ended up giving out like 35 awards on accident. Because, and I had to get 35 plaques and make sure that they all had the date, me signed it, and make sure it had the right. So what I had was best, like, in each category. So there was 4 categories. And then I had second place best in each category. And so those 4 categories, best in each category is 4. I think I gave second place and first place. So that's 3 awards for 4 categories. And then I gave like a judge's award, a staff award, congeniality. I gave a go-getter award, a trailblazer award. think of all the other awards I gave. And I still had like 8 left over just because I wasn't able to fill the age divisions. But I had a lot more awards to get. You know how many people and fingers it took to put those awards in the plaque? Oh, my goodness. I would not do that just to come up on, I don't know, $5,000. If that. I usually always break even when I compete, when I put on a pageant. Last year my pageant entry fee was free and I had no ticket sales. I asked people for donations, and that pretty much paid for the cost it took to hire 3 strong men to move these stairs from the park district outside atrium like 2 miles to where we were at the Carver Center. So, and then I gave away $50 award. It costs so much. Decorations, you can't put on a low budget pageant because obviously in order to scam you have to put on a good job for the most part, or the illusion of it. Heck, I've been to some pageants and I'm just like like, you didn't even really try for real. That's why I don't understand why people come into this industry specifically just to not do good. And what we're seeing right now with Miss Universe is not looking good. The optics are so crazy, and it's like, is this for real? This is like the Twilight Zone, because I'm like exhausted. I can't keep up. It's really confusing. I'm hearing things about like cartel. Like I cannot understand what is happening at Miss Universe and how it got this far. But I feel like this is what I would do. If I had Miss USA, if I was Tom, I would be sitting there watching them implode on themselves, because that's ultimately what we're seeing, an implosion happening in slow motion. And I would just sit and wait and just get 1 million sponsors to donate $1 and pay to buy the rights to Miss Universe at this point, because I feel like there's just so much other things that leadership could be doing with their lives than trying to run a pageant that's been around for decades, and it's supposed to be like this benchmark top tier situation, and it's just like decaying from the inside out in more ways than one. You know what I'm saying? I've been hearing some things in more ways than one. So I would be at the bank like, hey, let me get 20 million. Let me get 21 million, because you gotta walk away with something. Let me get $21 million and pay them people off, because I don't know what the future could look like, and time will tell. We'll see this weekend, because I'm sure it's going to look good, but I'm just waiting to see what the girls have to say when the crown is not at stake, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like we're going to hear some things, and it's going to come from the countries that we don't really hear from, the smaller ones. So I feel it. I feel that. I was going to do like a top 20 prediction. I don't think I'm going to do that anymore, or top 30, because I just don't know if I feel like I really trust the numbers this year. Just being frank with you guys. And there's no point in me even trying to be like all strategic, because you guys know I don't miss. Go back, watch my other stuff. You know I do not miss in my predictions, because I can always, you have that, some people have that it, and you can tell that a lot by the headshots. But I don't know for real, because we had 2 judges resign. That's just not, like I'm saying, like that's, you had 2 judges resign. I've never had that before. I've had judges, let me see, I don't even know if the worst experience I've had with I do know the worst experience I've had with judges. Can't really talk about it. But I will say that I was not happy. Like, maybe that's a story time for another day. I just don't like throwing people on the bus. It's in the past. But I did have some judge learn something about a girl who was recently crowned and went over my head. And it legitimately was, at that point, to me, in my opinion, it wasn't none of her business. After ceremony was only, I'll figure it out. I don't think I needed to go through a judge to talk about the next steps. But she went over my head, and it was not a good situation. I was really disappointed in the way it was handled, because it led to a decrowning, and that's not the best move. But that's probably the worst experience I've had with the judge. But that was after the fact. They were fine. They were a good judge, actually. I think they were my head judge that year. So I just didn't like that moment. But to have two judges resign on you is tragic. So that's why I'm curious to see what other information is going to come out, because this started off like with a bang on day 3. That Miss Mexico situation, that was just uncalled for. And it was preventable. But I don't know. I talked about that on my TikTok. So I'll see if I'll post the audio here. But we're going to talk after the pageant. I still have something I want to say that I think is going to, I don't know, ruffle some feathers, whatever. But it needs to be said. It's a pattern I noticed as of late. And I don't like the way it looks. It's the optics. That's what I'm saying. It's the optics. People do not consider the way things look. Like, things sound bad. But yeah, I will get there. But I do have something to say when it comes to the industry. But thanks so much for listening to this, you guys. I didn't want to hold you too long. Just had to give out my thoughts while I had them, because this is not looking good when it comes to Miss Universe. The pageant is this weekend as of this recording. So I'm sure more information is going to come out. I just hope the girls are still enjoying themselves over there, because that's all that this is about. Literally, that's all this is about, and giving back. So if it's not about that, then what are you doing besides just wasting people's time? All right, thanks for tuning into this episode of Pageants and Prosecco. I love you.